Guys, spicy one this morning. Building costs murdering our property prices. Are they? How are they? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about it this morning.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Namaste, economist Josh Wapshott from Novak Properties, guru, real estate agent, Mark Novak, real estate agent of 30 years. We have some thoughts about building costs we'd like to share this morning. Josh, I'm passing the mic to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I think this is a very relevant topic in relation to build costs. Probably something we're seeing more prominent recently, especially with obviously the housing market the way it is, and obviously a call for supply to hit the market as to be the solution to this ever-growing heating property market. But I tell you what, we've been down in the fields and speaking with a lot of the developers themselves. We've got a couple of sites across the Northern Beaches, and having that discussion with them, we're getting some really good info. And we thought that we would share this today with everyone because it's probably something that I then switch over to a residential open home, and I'll speak about these things with incoming inspectors, buyers, and they go to me, wow, Josh, I never really actually thought about real estate property in that way, and why, trying to get an understanding of why prices rise as fast as they do. And I think a big one is the build cost mark. It says it in our heading, something that was once built for 300, you're now spending more than double, 700. So big costs.
5 years.
Yeah,
It's
very
5 years from 300 for a box to 700 for a box. That's ludicrous. A 1 or a 2 or a 3 bedroom apartment, what that was costing 250, 300 is now 700 in 2026. I just think that's nuts.
It is, especially when you think of, like you said, 5 years, and you put that over a longer time frame. That really is an extreme push. And it seems as though it's not only to do with the cost of materials themselves, but another thing we've seen to find with our developers that we're selling their product, it's also to do with compliance. Mark, if you want to share a bit about our experiences with developers and certificate requirements and compliance now these days.
Oh, we're sitting in the tin shed with the builder last week, and who's been building for 50, 60 years and still building strong. Just done a big building in DY of 100 units, and he's going, this is incredible. Like, he actually wasn't complaining. He was, I don't know, it's almost like he was rolling with the punches in a way. It's just like, this is how it is now. But he was saying 10 years ago, 15 certificates, a building of 100 units, 15 certificates, fire, power, construction, like certificates, very, very simple. 15 certificates. All he had to worry about was 15 certificates. He said, Mark, just finished this building, just got occupation certificate, 315 certificates. Same job.
Wow. That's just a mammoth change. And obviously, with that extra compliance checks and processes comes along the cost as well. So, there's now developers that I'm speaking to that, as part of their feasibility, are needing to have funds to the side for small changes, compliance part of the build now. So it's becoming a very big topic. And very relevant in today's market, and probably why we're seeing how hard it is for developers to bring stock to the market.
There are a lot of developers that are choosing not to build. They're like, we're builders, we're developers, we're out of the building game. We'll develop, but we're out of the building game. A lot of builders going, just don't worry about it, it's too hard.
Yeah. And the risk versus reward, what used to be there beforehand, as you've said, a lot of that that juice, you'd call it, for developers, where they were building these boxes for 200-300. For them to go and take on the risk, obviously there needs to be the right reward at the end of the journey, and that's just not there at the moment.
And here's the dumb person's attitude. That's good. Dumbo says it's really good. It's really good that there's more compliance. There's a level of too much. It's not good. There's a level of too much, right? So when it comes to the fact that, like, when is enough enough? When it comes to the fact that your building cost has gone up 400,000 in 5 years, mostly due to bloody compliance, you can't tell me it's due to the buildings that are twice as good as what they were 5 years ago. You can't bullshit to me and tell me raw materials are nothing. Like, what can possibly change to be double? A compliance. You ask these guys, it's compliance. Now, let me put this to a road, right? There's fatalities on the road. If you want to make fatalities on the road zero, change 60 kilometers an hour down to 20 kilometers an hour as the maximum speed you can travel, and you fix the problem. Compliance. Make everyone really compliant. They can't go more than 20. There's no fatalities on the road. There's got to be, I know it's an awful example to give, but there's got to be efficiency in that as well, versus survival. I just can't get around to 20 k's an hour. It's just inefficient, right? I can't do it. And there is that argument with building. Now, unfortunately, with compliance, when you introduce it, you cannot repeal it, because your head's on the chopping block if you're the one that repealed it. So all this stuff that's in, it's not going to be undone, because who's going to put their head on the chopping board for that when something goes? No one. So we've got to get used to it. But what I'm worried about, Josh, is if 700 build costs for a 1 or 2 bedroom in 5 years doubles again.
And I mean, that's somewhat like we were saying, the silver lining in this is that, well, great, if you are a property owner, we now are starting to see construction create a floor price for property, because you can't simply go and recreate or replace that property now with what it would cost you. And I think it's extremely, you've hit the nail on the head in regards to efficiency versus compliance, and finding that middle ground. And I think that is one of the, if not the most important factor at the moment. But then you've also got the pressures of, a really tight trade labor force. So, you are going to pay more for your labor over the last 5 years, and probably is still that aspect of materials have gone up as well. So they've really been hit from all sides and corners. And these guys are the ones that create the supply for the market, and creating that supply is what brings up more opportunity and tends to the demand in the market, so that people aren't running over the top of each other when it comes to that small amount of property that's currently available.
Absolutely. And now, Josh, you reckon there's a silver lining in this? You reckon this is underpinning stuff? Tell us.
Yeah, well, like I just said, I really believe that, if you can't replicate a product, which you can't with these build costs, it really is setting a flooring in terms of pricing of what you would expect an apartment to be sold at, what a house, depending on how big square meterage it is. I think that's the silver lining in it all. It is creating somewhat of a floor in prices in property, which probably you didn't think of 10 years ago. I know when I heard my parents talking about property, it wasn't about construction costs. It was about location, where you wanted to live. You never really thought of the fact that, hey, I'm going to be buying this, and this is how much it's going to cost to build it. So I think that is going to start to enter the market.
Can I say something for people that are watching and just remind everyone what we're talking about? We're not talking about land cost. We're not talking about profit. We're talking about just the build. Whether you're building 1, 2, 3, it's about 700 a box. Just the build. If you add 200 or 300 grand per unit for land, and if you add 200 or 300 grand per unit, you're up at about 1.3 mil, 1.2 mil for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or 3-bedroom.
Massive.
Profit to do that many units. So the good news is that if you're sitting in a 1-bedroom at the moment, you're a bit of a rock star, or a cheap 2-bedroom, because to supply that product in today's market's impossible.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think that I watched a video recently from another agent actually, and it was sort of again with inflation, it was like, you know, if you're worried about your coffee doubling in price, well, if your coffee's doubling but your property's doubling at the same time, you're not going to feel so bad about it. So I guess you know, with all these price increases and what we're seeing without the market, I think the most important thing is for people to ensure they're exposed to the market itself. You know, we've seen it over the last 100 years, double every 10 years. And as hard as everything else is getting, and more expensive things are getting, well,
Make sure you're a property owner.
Yeah, there's one trophy asset, and guys, it's not something that you want, it's something that you need. We all need a roof out, under our heads. It's a necessity. So to have something as a necessity such as a home to put yourself or your family under, and it be your trophy asset, I think that's where it, you know, sort of comes out on top, even amongst all the turmoil in the world.
Absolutely. Josh Wapshott, thank you very much. Interesting topic that a lot of people, I think you see it in the media, but I don't think it's unpacked as much as it could be. And hopefully we help people unpack it today. Josh Wapshott, the economist at Novak, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers. Love you. See ya. Bye.